Foul Podcast, and we're here, another episode. Y'all see, we're gonna be talking about some high school hoops, just a little bit, actually a lot. High school to NBA, as you can see in the graphic right in front of you, and then we'll talk a little Celtics basketball. First of all, I want to let y'all know that I appreciate you. Let me start off with that. I appreciate you. 2, see that thing up there? It would be a blessing if you could do that. If not, more blessings to you. Anywho, I'm gonna get right on with this episode. Shams from The Athletic reported earlier this week that the NBA is currently working out a new CBA contract because the CBA is currently coming up to expire, and there's been things that's been talked about, higher contract, salaries, all that. But the most intriguing thing that had popped up in Shams' report was bringing back high school to NBA, straight out of high school to NBA. Yeah, that's big. We're talking like 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids, 18-year-old hoopers, 17-year-old hoopers. The NBA currently has a one and done rule in the NBA where you must go play college at least 1 year and then be eligible to enter the NBA draft. The NBA currently has a one and done rule where a player doesn't have to go to college but could go overseas, play 1 year, get paid, then come back, aka LaMelo Ball, aka RJ Hampton. A lot of players who are doing that now. We see, I could use a couple names. You see what the G League is doing with Team Ignite, bringing on players, paying them a certain amount. Then, after that 1 year in the G League, go straight to the league. The G League, which is a farm team, a sister league for the NBA, where players get developed. That's a good step. But there was a huge article. This is why I'm gonna tell you guys this whole thing happening shows you how much power one person in this entire league has, and that one person, his name is LeBron James. And I'll get there. A few weeks ago, there was an article out from Sports Illustrated. LeBron James and his sons graced the cover after the 20 years of being drafted first overall, straight out of high school, being the chosen one, being the guy that the NBA said, hey, this is the next Michael Jordan, and now being able to still do the things that he's able to do in this league, in the tenure that he's been in. There was a whole article about that, and in that article, LeBron stated, my goal before I retire is to play with my 2 sons. Not one son. Not one son. Just both of them. And then boom. Here comes Adam Silver. Here comes the NBA Players Association. Here comes the NBA with their magic wand. And they say, hey, whoa, check this out. Abracadabra. Boom. We're talking about this. Bring this upon. Adam Silver said, okay, let's do this. Let's bring this topic to discussion at the CBA contract meetings. And that was all because of one article, and that was all because of one player, in my opinion. And everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But we all looking at the power of one guy, the power of one player, where he's able to have an entire magazine cover and then an entire article, and then say certain things, and then boom, just comes to fruition. The last player to come out of high school and go straight to the NBA was Amir Johnson in 2005. Had a pretty decent NBA career. He wasn't great in everything, but he was a solid role player. He was a solid starter from time to time. Had a great time in Toronto. Did his thing with Boston, I believe, at the end near the end of his career. But he's the last known player to come straight out of high school to the NBA. And Bron comes out with this article and says, hey, like, I want that, I want this, I want that. Well, shoot, how about the players that wanted to come out of high school when they had the chance to 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 18, 16, whatever years ago it was that the league stopped it. This is great for the league. I believe that players who are talented enough to come out of high school, there's been plenty of players. I could name, look, one of the greatest players of all time, Kobe Bryant. Another great, LeBron James. Another great, T-Mac. And then you got the busts, or so-called busts. I'm not going to call Kwame a bust because he played in the league. He was a professional in the league for 10 or more years. Now, in my definition of a bust is different from other people's. A bust is someone who gets drafted into the league or who makes it to the league and doesn't do anything for 2 years or doesn't produce for a certain amount of years. But to continuously get a contract for 10 plus years in the league where not many people are able to make it in, that's impressive. That's professional work. That's a good pro. That's a good professional basketball player. That's not no bust. Anywho, the names of players coming out of high school go down the list. There's plenty of them. And now we're gonna look at a possibility of seeing 17, 18-year-olds making a name for themselves and having a lot of pressure on themselves. You know, we're gonna see the social media scene popping now that this might actually come to fruition. Now, is LeBron James gonna end up playing with both of his sons? Most likely. I mean, he's a man of his words. He said he's gonna open up a school. He opened up a school. He said he's gonna do certain things in the NBA. He's achieved those certain things and then some. He said he wants to play with his sons. It might happen. This is huge for the NBA. This also goes to show how much power, again, I'm going to stick to this word, power, one guy has in the entire league full of a pool of like 400, 500 different players. Wonder how this goes. Comment down below about your perception on this entire thing. But yeah, let's go on to this next topic. Brad Stevens has the green light. Celtics fans, I know there's a lot of y'all that are listening and watching, but owner Wick Grospec, I think I said his last name right. If I didn't, I apologize. It's hard. I've actually seen him in person once. It's a whole nother story. I'll put the picture out if I can find it. But yeah, he said in an article that Brad has the green light to spend more than he's already spent. Now, Brad has spent over $200 million this offseason alone. And then spending a lot of money on Malcolm, spending a lot of money on Gallinari, who just tore his ACL at the Eurobasket tournament. And Celtics fans, there's no replacement for that yet. Not yet. A lot of people are saying Melo. A lot of people are saying Terrence Jones Terrence Ross from Orlando. But what the owner said about this spending spree and allowing him to spend more has a lot of questions going through my head, where it's like, oh, okay, you spent that much, you spent 200 mil. What's going on here? Like, the trade is coming up in a couple months. There's something called the sign and trade in the NBA, where, okay, let's negotiate this trade. let's negotiate this contract out after this trade. A lot of talk has happened between Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and guys of those natures and those names, and in the offseason, trade rumors. And it gets me to thinking, whoa. If we're not going to replace Gallinari right away, what is Brad waiting for? And then you got the trades. Yeah, signing trades. That's a thing, guys. So don't be surprised if you see Jaylen Brown on the trading block throughout the entire first half of the season. And don't be surprised if you scrolling down your timeline in a couple months and you see, whoa, Boston trades Jaylen Brown. What Wick said is hinting at a possible sign and trade in the near future. They haven't handled the Gallinari situation. They got Malcolm Brogdon. They got the face of the franchise in Jason Tatum. They got a perennial all-star in Jaylen Brown, who's also trade value, who's a trade asset, who has a lot of value on his name, and who I believe is better than Jason Tatum at times. Will this happen? No. It's just it gives you the okay. Some offseason is about to end about a week. Training camp is coming up in about less than a week. If you ain't gonna spend no money now, when you gonna spend it, Brad? When is Boston gonna spend that money? So don't be surprised if you see a big trade on the way. And it's sad. It's very sad that Jaylen Brown is still talked about in these rumors, in this space. Nothing is concrete yet. But at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a business. The owners want one thing. That damn Larry O'Brien trophy. And if they can't get it, they'll do whatever they can to get it. And if it means trading Jaylen Brown, and giving this guy the green light to do that, they're going to do that. They will do that. I'm just giving y'all fair warning. Don't be surprised. The whole KD talk was over with. Don't be surprised if it comes back. Don't be surprised if Jaylen Brown ends up in Miami, in Toronto, and probably even Utah. I mean, there's connections between Utah and Boston. You never know. Maybe even LA, one of the LA teams. But hey, just putting that out there for you guys. Appreciate y'all for listening. If you could do that thing up there for me, And if you're listening, if you could subscribe on Apple Podcasts and follow, give that thing a 5-star rating on Spotify, that would be a blessing. If not, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Peace. Love.